What are Congress's subpoena power limitations for oversight? Imagine a scenario where Congress needs to investigate a matter of national importance. They have the authority to request documents and testimony from individuals and organizations. But this power is not unlimited. Understanding the boundaries of Congress's subpoena authority reveals how oversight functions within a framework of legal and constitutional constraints. Congress's ability to issue subpoenas is rooted in its constitutional authority to conduct investigations and oversee the executive branch. However, this authority is subject to several limitations designed to balance oversight with individual rights and separation of powers. One key restriction is that subpoenas must be relevant to a legitimate legislative purpose. This means Congress cannot issue a subpoena solely to harass or intimidate individuals, or to gather information unrelated to legislative functions. Another important limitation involves the scope of the subpoena. Congress cannot demand documents or testimony that are protected by legal privileges. For example, the attorney-client privilege, which ensures confidential communication between a lawyer and client, can be invoked to block certain disclosures. Similarly, the executive privilege allows the president and high-level officials to refuse to disclose certain information, especially if its releases could impair the functioning of the executive branch or compromise national security. Enforcement of subpoenas involves a legal process. If an individual or organization refuses to comply, Congress can seek enforcement through the courts. However, courts have the authority to review the subpoena's scope and relevance, and they can quash or modify subpoenas that are overly broad or lack a legitimate purpose. This judicial oversight acts as a check on Congress's subpoena power. Furthermore, there are practical limitations. Congress cannot compel testimony or production of documents that are protected by the Fifth Amendment, which guarantees the right against self-incrimination. If a witness refuses to testify on this basis, Congress must respect that constitutional right, although it can still pursue other avenues of investigation. In summary, while Congress possesses significant authority to subpoena individuals and documents for oversight, this power is bounded by constitutional protections, relevance to legislative purposes, legal privileges, and judicial review. These limitations ensure that oversight efforts remain balanced, lawful, and respectful of individual rights and constitutional principles.